Hello guys, this is Loveworldchild speaking in the noon where I am staying currently. Uh, I'm not about music, because music is my first love I've ever seen. Also my love for God, for that will, you know, that eagerness, that willingness, of wanting to do what is right. Yeah, because I understand as a child in the world of today, there are many challenges. Like even when it comes to the things to do, uh, the things that are good for us. It's quite very challenging when there are so many things controlling us. At the end of the day, um, there are many things controlling us, and we are controlling one another in quite different ways. Not quite the right way, because even our leaders, some of them, they just use us for their own sake. Uh, like this thing about business, like business is killing this world. It's killing this world in many different ways because we haven't set up a business that we can say this is for people. Like uh, like what I always say, like the greatest, the greatest main important of what love world mankind represents is that a community should not be a community for the sake of just being called so, or any place named with people should not be so for the sake of just being called so. So our communities, they don't have hearts, like an office to oversee to certain things that should be the things that made us the most in each and every community, in each and every place named where people stays. Because like I always say, it's about this image that we are sharing together as human beings. Yet there are so many things that divide, that separate us. Unnecessary things. If we all can come together and talk about the things that made us the most, and get to that point of bringing about the things that made us the most, like even our children, because we cannot lie to them, we cannot deceive them, because they even know what we should be fighting for right now in this present world of today that we're living. They are understanding, and the future is theirs. So beginning now at this age, whereas we are free, and if we are free indeed, it is possible that a community or any place named with people should not be so for the sake of just being called so. It should have power, something else that it is known about, something else that sustains it. Okay, as a human individually, right? You are sustained, probably you have a job, or you have a business, or you have a way how you make like income in order to sustain you and your family and your loved ones. What about when it comes to your community? Because see, this is what even Christ himself speaks about, that what the stone which the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. This is the cornerstone, that what charity, we say charity begins at home. Do we have charity in our homes? We might have it in our homes, but also like this community is your home when you are staying here. So we need to do a work of charity. A work of charity that's going to represent the things that matters the most. A work of charity that's going to represent the things that matters the most. I was saying last time that, you know what, smoking and drinking alcohol are not the things that matters the most. But, you know, bread, melon meal, and rice are the things that matter the most, because, you know what, you cannot live by drinking, but you can't live without food. Brothers and sisters, we need to bring about, you know, the things that matters the most in the world of today. Because in the world of today, quite a lot of us are knowledgeable people, respectful, knowledgeable people, civilized people in the world of today. And we cannot be deceived to what should be. We cannot be deceived. Our children cannot be deceived. Or we just watch our fathers because they have positions, they have money, they just do what they want. When we try to say this is the way how it should be, but they're still following, you know, way back footsteps. Because this is a new world in which we need certain changes. We are not living in the rules and regulations of the old. Like when we look in the law, sex, 9, blah, 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 Act of 1990 something. Even when it comes to some of these rules and regulations, some of these rules and regulations, they only save the people who are rich, not poor people. So we have law, but we are lawless. We have law, but we are lawless. Things are organized, but they are organized in a disorganized way. We are not lacking anything in this world. It's only a matter that, you know what, there are so many things that shouldn't be. There's nothing lacking in the world. We have enough food. We have enough land. And there's enough money for everybody, if it is about money. We don't have to allow certain powers and principles and protocols take advantage of us probably because of our backgrounds. It's a free world today. We are free. And as free people, we must do things that free people should do. We should not be restrained from speaking and wanting to do the things that we know that are good for us. Because what kind of lessons are you teaching us if you are standing for the things that matter the most and you say no? Then our children, they end up being rebels because, you know what, they are not being listened to at the end of the day. Because when it comes to most of the things, it's about, you know, the people who are in positions. And those people in positions, they also like have the people, you know, who are controlling them. Some of them, they really want to make good decisions because they are close to the people, because they know what is happening. We just come and listen to the boss. The boss doesn't know anything that is happening here. We just have to listen to him because he's the boss. Because leadership is very, very important. Leadership is very, very important. In order for this world to be civilized the way it is because of leadership. But you cannot abuse that. We cannot abuse that. We cannot abuse freedom. It is a time that we should come together and oversee to the things that matters the most, regardless of all the things that may divide us. We need to come to see ourselves the way God sees us. Once we start seeing ourselves the way God sees us, then we can start seeing other people the way God sees them. Then we can change our mentality. If there is to be this change is going to change quite a lot of people's mentality. Because some of our mentality are not changing because of, you know what, we are living this way. There are certain changes that we need to make in life, but we are, restrained because of certain protocols, certain principles, certain powers, or certain authorities. So I'm saying that it's a lawless world. We have the law, but it's lawless. We need to see ourselves, as capable people, as advanced people. Because you know what? We've come a long way, and we've learned quite a lot, and we've been through quite a lot. Take it from our forefathers. Right now, us standing today as black, as white, what matters is this image that we share together as human beings, as humankind. It is a time that we need to speak of the things that matters the most, because there's quite a lot of things in this world that are controlling quite a lot of people. Some of those things are necessary things. And even when it comes to working, some of the work that has been created here, it's just unnecessary work. The reason why people are working too much today, and the people are being taken advantage of that, because you know what? You need money at the end of the day. And some of you, the salary that you're paying, that you are earning, you know what? You are still getting the same salary each and every month. Yet, you know what? When you go in shops, prices, they change almost each and every month. What about your salary to change? I was saying last time that, if you go in some of these places and, like supermarket, you find out, like, a price of a certain product. It's something 99, something 99. Because really, we have to think, really, if you are going to give me 1 cent for a change, what am I going to do with 1 cent? When the rand has dropped so much as it has right now, when you are looking at currency, we need to come together and speak about the things that matters the most. Because as we are living right now, we might be living for the sake of ourselves, but you know what? As we are living now, we are also living for the future, and the future, that is our children. It is our children who are the future. That, you know what, like clay, as you would, like a pot, smoothing it, sharpening it. That's what we should do to our children today, so that they can become productive leaders of tomorrow. Not like leaders of today. Because leaders of today, they are still following the footsteps of leaders of yesterday. Most of them. Whereas some of the leaders who were of yesterday, they are not of good example. Listen, that I tell you that, you know what, you walk around, you have Stephen Biko face on your shirt, you have Martin Luther King, you have all this, like, you know, it inspires you, but are you doing what these people have told you? You see, this is how God sees us. That, you know what, we can, but we don't want to. We can do these things. It's just a matter that we don't want to. We just want to remain the way that we are. Do we want to remain poor? No, we must give our children fresh air for the future. Beginning now, revolution now, based on the things that matters the most. A community should not be a community for the sake of just being called so, or any place named with people should not be so for the sake of just being called so. Must have power in order to see to the things that matters the most. Because brothers and sisters, it's not funny that I have to go right in town and each and every toilet that I approach, you know what, I have to have like a 2 rand or 1 rand so that I can use it. Because it's not always that I'm having 1 rand or 2 rand. It's not fair to have to pay for a toilet. It's not. Because right now, I could eat on this certain restaurant, then I can go 2 hours and end up in somewhere else. So you tell me now I have to go back, right? Because I ate on that restaurant, that's where I have to use the toilet. There should be free toilets for public use. Now, these are the things that I want to speak about when it comes to, I want to speak to Malema, I want to speak with Zuma, or Zile, or whoever should listen, who is in power, who can get things done. Because, brothers and sisters, if you are underestimating one another over unnecessary things, we're not going anywhere. We're going to remain stuck here. And it's even going to become even worse. Because right now, even with this coronavirus right now, this currently, it's just rumors. It's just stories. We're not quite sure what is happening. So you see, for a man to live, it is by the mercy of God. It is by the grace of God. We need to see ourselves the way God sees us. We need to change the world. Because myself, you know what? I'm a book. I'm a book for people to read so that they can have knowledge from me. What am I? I am the light of the world. I should not be in hiding. I should go right on public and behead. Why should the light be here, be hide away? Why should the light be restrained from shining? Why you should do, what should, like in the world of darkness like we are right now, you deny the light. So we remain in darkness where everybody else is like, we are not safe if we are in darkness. That's why we need to bring about the light. So if I'm speaking of the things that matter the most, I need to be supported. Because I'm a book sent right on the world that people I should read and should get to do by me. Welcome to the manual of life, because that's what I am. That's what I believe that I am, that I'm a manual for life. I believe in the Bible that is the manual for life. And that's what I have at heart. That's what I have in mind. You go on a phone, you want to buy a phone, you want to buy some speakers or whatever, they give you the manual because it's not you who invented that thing. It's not you who created that thing. They give you with a manual so that what you don't understand, you go on the manual and find out, then you can press the right button. Then you can get to know how to use your device or whatever. The same thing with life. Listen to God. God is telling you something. Listen to God. God wants to give you something. Listen to God. God wants to take you out of darkness into his marvelous light. But he's not going to force. But of course, he's going to speak. Until kingdom come, God is going to speak. But God doesn't want to speak only. He wants to do things with people. Because you know what? You are sick and tired of hearing. And he knows that. God knows that we are sick and tired of hearing. And he wants the world to change. That's why men like me are being sent forth in the world. That even right now speaking, I'm speaking on behalf of others. That they are out there. They are coming. Listen to them. Help them. Support them. Brothers and sisters, aren't they children? Aren't they children being raised right in our communities like this here? On your watch? That yes, they could take that time with God, wanting to find out solutions to do with the problems they are facing in their lives and the lives of others. 5 years, 10 years, son is grown up. Then he starts speaking. Then he starts showing you something. Then he starts wanting to do with you something else. But you would disrespect him because what? You grow up with him. God raised you champions. And you hear them. Support them. This is not an ordinary age. This is an extraordinary age. You should have an extraordinary mind. Don't be like an old phone or like this old Nokia. Be a galaxy. Be a child of today, a free child of today. Get knowledge, get wisdom. Because it's for free. I love people because I share with them this image. Hands, the face, this structure, this frame, this structure. So it's not about skin or it's not about skin color or your language. There are people that I enjoy, just seeing them, just looking at them, speaking, even though I don't understand them. But I could just enjoy them, the way they're expressing to each other, the way they are speaking. See where my love for people comes from. I enjoy people. So I was speaking about Trevor Noah. I was speaking about Malema. That I'm speaking, I like this fact about Zuma, that he built a candle there, that he did it for people. Now it doesn't matter that he stole that man or whatever. He has a chance to be a president, and he did it for his homeland. How many people are doing that for their home places? The same thing that I am saying right now, that a community should not be a community for the sake of just being so cold. So it should have power. That's why Zuma built power, right? He gave power to the people that he grew up with around his homeland. Now it doesn't matter now you speak about him. Zuma stole this and this and this, but he did it. Well done. Because to him, it's like, he's being like some Robin Hood for his people. in these dark days, and there's corruption, this and this and this and this. There's a whole lot of money that should be useful right in these communities, but this money is being stolen because you know what? This is in a position, and you know what? It's nice to have money and have nice things of the world. Because you know, this example that we are giving to our children is not a very good example. We can't let them follow our footsteps. This is a new world. This is a new generation. There are certain people who are aware, people who knows that now that, you know what, they take advantage because, you know what, we don't know. But if we know, if we get to do, nobody can take advantage of us. We need to see ourselves the way how God sees us. Not the way how other people would see you, because if you would see yourself the way other people would see you, someone else would see you as a foolish person, and you call you foolish, and you might even cry on your teeth because you know what? You believe in him. You don't believe in yourself. Know who you are based on what God says, not on what somebody else has said. Because right now in this world that we are living, in this generation that we are living, there are so many man-made. Maybe you become who you are because of certain influences of other people. So who are you? Are you God-made or you are man-made? You need to ask yourself that question. Are you God-made or you are man-made? It is important that you read and write. And after that, that you find out the way through these words. Because there's so many words in this world, so many books, so many voices. Some of them are necessary voices, wasting your time. You see, if you love somebody else, you would stand up for that somebody else. That's what I did in Danun, that I love Danun. I love people of my own image. It's not fair for Danun to be the way that it is. Now I would hear some guys walk by taking my speakers right in public. Not only that, there's many things are happening around. In which brings us that, you know what, at the end of the day, we need to unite over things that matters the most. Because really, with this coronavirus, and if they are telling us 1 something meters apart, with the condition right here in Danun, other than giving the people of Danun a piece of land so that some other people here, they can relocate to that other land, because people that are crowded here. This is Loveworldchild speaking, and I understand, and I know, and I want you to know that it is possible, that you know what, we can change, that revolution can begin now based on the things that matters the most. Because brothers and sisters, you're not just living alone, you're living with others around you. And there are certain things that matters the most. Those are the things that we need to value the most. Like for instance, right now we're speaking about, you know, public toilets. Toilets are for sale. If you want to use the toilet, you have to pay money. Now, if it's like that, I was in the streets myself some several months ago, like second time in the streets again. Second time, several months ago, I left the streets. And I know that the number of people who are living in the streets is increasing. Because the problem begins right here in our communities. Reason I was saying, if there could be a community like the Nuno or Joslovo or this poor underprivileged communities, why should there be people living in the streets? If things are like that. You see, brothers and sisters of my image and brothers and sisters of my faith, it is possible for a change. So I want to speak to you. I want to read the newspapers. I want to bring out those problems and show you the solutions. That's the kind of job that I want, that I am doing. That I could be reading newspaper about certain problems, and you know what, providing solutions at the same time. Because I am sick and tired of reading, and I am sick and tired of hearing problems, and not only me, but many people. So it's about now bringing about a solution. And brothers and sisters, if we cannot do this, that a community should not be a community for the sake of just being called. So if we cannot do this, if we cannot unite based on the things that matters the most, our future is not bright. These are modern days, and changes are happening. There will be people taking advantage of you later on, because you know what, we're supposed to do this and this so that you can what, sustain the future of your children, sustain our future. We must use this freedom that we have wisely. We must use this freedom that we have implementing the things that matters the most. We must use this freedom that we have to bring about the things that matters the most all throughout mankind. Because most of the things that divide us, they are necessary things. Relationships between countries shouldn't be only about football or netball or some games. It should also be about languages. It goes way, way deep. We should get to know each other, to understand each other. Like I was saying now, because you know, of languages, that English alone is not enough. It should be compulsory, like here in South Africa, for each and every student studying now to be studying Afrikaans and Xhosa and Zulu. Because communication is important. English alone, it's not enough. The reason why still our youth even today, they don't like understand each other is because you know what? They don't share languages. We need to see ourselves the way God sees us, not the way other people would see us, or otherwise. It's going to be a lot of taking advantage of this and that, because you don't know. You need to know yourself. Because you're not just a human being for the sake of just being a human being. You are something. It doesn't matter how you see yourself, and it doesn't matter even some of the bad things that you do. Get to know yourself within. You are special. Because here, brothers and sisters, when God created a man so that a man can function to his fullest potential. So don't underestimate God. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't be underestimated by anything, because you were created by God so that you can function to your fullest potential. When you know that, you can get to do something about your life. To put value in yourself. If it is education, if there are muscles. Because you are special. A community should not be a community for the sake of just being called so. Any place named with people must not be so for the sake of just being called so. It must have power. These are modern days. There's quite a lot of challenging things today. There's quite a lot of competition happening today. Products, business. At least let's have a business to sustain a community, to oversee to the things that matters the most. That is my calling to mankind. I am inspired by people. Every time I get out and see people, I am inspired. When I see people who are capable of doing this thing that I am saying. When I see people, I believe more. That's why I would go public speaking, because you know what? I love people. I want them to know the truth, and I want to get to do with them these things. And these are my sacrifices that, on a certain day, I should be having people, doing this. Even, I'm waking, I could be paying them, take a video and this and this and this. Nobody budges. 4 times I've been there. This 5th time, somebody else just walks away with my speakers. And I should let it happen, because you know what? I didn't come here to fight or there to fight with anybody else. I bought those speakers with Danune in my heart. I bought those speakers with the love of mankind in my heart. Now I just like, that's how officious it is. It's about money, right? Same thing that I'm calling for people, that you know what, we should create money right here to oversee to the things that made us the most right in our community. Because while speaking right now, there's certain, who are even like, because certain people who takes advantage because of certain people, because certain people that are poor and they are rich. Now I was telling you about the value of a man. What is the value of a man? Should we value a man because of the money that he has, or because of the love that he has? The love to do good things with people. So I'm saying, we need like leaders today. We don't need bosses. In some of these positions that matters the most, we don't need bosses. We need leaders. Beginning from presidents. That's why I'm saying that today we need to bring about kings and queens in the world of today. Why not? If you can adapt a child, why not adapt a community and become its king? Yes, there could be like even 10 kings in one community. It's all right. These are our guys. They have money. They are seeing over the wholeness of this community because they have this. You see, we're not having the right kind of fun that we should be like having because we're living in a lie. This is not the way it should be. See, I happen to be the way. I happen to know the way. I happen to know the truth, and I happen to know life itself. That's why I'm calling forth, and I've been calling forth for like, I don't know, ever since when. That you know what, people, no man. A community should not be a community for the sake of just being called so, or any place named with people must not be so for the sake of just being called so. It must have power. Something else that we can call, this is us. This is what makes Danun. This is what makes Kailicha. This is what makes, Slovo. We must unite based on the things that made us the most, regardless of all our differences. What matters is this image that we share together as many of mankind. This image, this image, this image, this image, this image. That's what matters the most. If it is about race, in each and every race, God had showed something in each and every race. Only if we could put our difference aside, we're going to have a lot of fun and a more glorious heaven on earth world. Unless we don't want to. Yes, we have choices. Yes or no. You know the story. I'm not the first one to be telling you some of these things. But the main important thing that Malema is not telling you, that Zuma should be telling you, that Trump should be telling people, that even Obama when he was in reign should have, even tell Africa, even a community or any place named with people must not be so for the sake of just being called so. No. I love you.